Let me. AI tools for creating AI generated assisted artwork. It's currently not possible to fully make AI generated content. It's not entirely on point. It's definitely getting there. There are parts of the process that are currently still not entirely the way they should be. One of those things is that currently with the GPU shortage, it's not that you can't find workarounds, and there's a vast variety of online tools and all sorts of things that enable you to make very, very, very realistic and good content. It's still not on point. It's not as if it's a thorough good thing that does everything the way you want it to. There are ways in which that is going to evolve, like the software, the programming, the algorithms are going to update, they are going to enhance, they're going to be getting a lot better, they're going to become faster, and probably there's going to be tricks that currently are not available. AMD still doesn't have graphics cards that supports the use of it. You need CUDA from NVIDIA in the first place, and what is going to happen is likely they're going to I can tell there's a massive explosion in how many people are doing this. It's beyond anything that it's booming in some sort of sense, since anyone can do it, and a lot of people are doing it. I do believe in some sense that having some artistic background is very beneficial, because then you can guide it and manipulate it and make it do what you want it to do much more easily than if you don't have that. Because if you don't know what you're looking for, you're not gonna really be capable of doing, if you're not really you can like just go about and make stuff, but like the more entrenched you are into making art in the first place, if you're a movie maker or whatever, is going to enhance your experience of what you're already doing, and make it much more make it so that you can um, automate certain parts of the thing that you wanted to do, or the thing that you're doing, and then you're gonna have a capacity for it to become more wholesome and generate itself in a way that you can then, if you don't know what you're looking for, you don't know what the parameters are, you don't already have an established thing, then it's going to be harder for it. I might give you an example. For example, my own work. This is well, first it was something like, was it this one? No, it was the angel one. It was this one, which is another image entirely, that also exists. I gave it a prompt, certain variables, a certain thing that it had to do, and then it created this thing that I was envisioning. Not entirely, of course. It's in some sense more awesome than I could have imagined, but it's definitely very awesome. And then I upscaled it, and then I redid it. I put it back in, and then it came up with this one. I do believe this is from a one that is a little bit more faded in the first place, But what it's doing is it's doing something that is an extension and a progression from the things that I was already doing. So if you don't have a background in it, might be very fun. I can't speak entirely for what, but like if you don't have a background in art or in making animation or something else, movie making, whatever, it's going to be harder to then pinpoint and manipulate the actual thing you're doing, because you don't have the visual library and you don't have that mindset of thinking further ahead, and you're still not. So I don't, it's not that I want to sound discouraging to someone who is not familiar into the art world, but it is something you have to think about. You definitely have to go back at studying paintings and what other people are doing and where things are going and what the standards are, and all that type of stuff. So you have a library, so you know what you're looking for in the first place, and then you're going to be capable of making something a lot more faster and more intentional than someone that doesn't have those intentions or doesn't know really what they are doing or what they're up to. Um, I'm going to give me 1 second. Can color layout. Eh, is better? No, it's not better. Okay, I'm going to go through this for a second. I've made some images here. There is a variety of things and tools that I use and that you could be using too. And that is, first and foremost, Photoshop has AI tools. Let me see. Photoshop has AI tools. There's a VQGAN plus clip. VQGAN plus clip, which is on the screen right now. I'll enlarge it. VQGAN plus clip here is a Colab notebook that has been published. You can just look this up. You know, it's the in the Google results the one that is a Colab. It's usually a little towards the bottom there, because there's also applications already that integrated that you can use that are more app-like. But they, again, like I said, it's, if you're gonna go that way, it's not gonna give you all the possibilities of actually diving deep into the code and going out and about doing all sorts of crazy stuff with it. Then it's like just writing in words, and then you don't know. You need to actually find ways to implement it into your own PC, other PCs. You have to make sure that you are, adding GPUs and stuff like that. But that's another story. You can run it on CPUs, and this is a tool. You can use it as an art generation thing, but then again, quality wise, this isn't on point. This is not a thing where you can. It takes a very expensive GPU to make even small images. So it's not something that is on point yet. It doesn't create extremely high quality stuff. That's where you need the upscaling for, which does produce very high quality, very big images, and it becomes a lot more evolved over time. With the VQGAN plus clip one, if you're using it in Colab, which likely you will do because running it locally is not an easy task. I have not actually tried VQGAN plus clip as a local runtime. I'm going to try that sometime later. that might give me better results, because you will get the regular GPU from Google, which might or might not be given to you because it will run into runtime errors, or they have like restrictions on how long you can use it because it's a free tool and GPUs are expensive. And they want you to buy the pro, and even then it might boot you every once in a while. There's some problems with Google Colab. Um, and yeah, there's also an option for the GCVM. I don't know why I am in Dutch. Translate to English. Yes. It's under an MIT license, which is the copyright permit hereby granted free of charge to any person obtaining a copy. So document files to deal in the use, copy, modify, blah blah blah. So an MIT license usually permits you to edit it and do whatever you want with it. GPU check is for the GPU that I just mentioned. Anti-disconnect is so you can run it a little longer. Installation of libraries. This is just regular. You go one by one. You install. If you've never coded before, you have to install packages on the machine that you've been given. You need to, every time you need to use a new machine, you have to do it again. It installs all the pips, so the in packages of Python. Then next, what it does, you have to press play, and then it installs, and you have to wait, and then the models, which is the images, which is the trained images that are coming, that are a neural net, that are the packages, the algorithms that you're going to be downloading are going to be using. And then the next thing is libraries of definition. So you want a certain width, and you want to have the images happen over a certain interval, and then you want to fire up the AI. The same thing happens for Pity or any other again. I don't have many. There are a couple, but that's the basics of it. And then it generates images, and it generates images like these. It's really fun to make. This is actually based on a 3D render, the original image, and then it just started adding layers to it based on the prompt that I gave it. And in fact, actually, as you can see, this is very clearly made with Deep Dream. Deep Dream is the one where the animals are being rendered on top of them, based on a certain algorithm. Deep Dream, of course, being Deep Dream generator, which you can be at right here. And this is giving me where I've already made quite a bit of those, and where you can find some of my artwork. That I'm still working on and trying to optimize. It can do a variety of things. It can even do, if you go to generate, you can add, like, it's the typical thing that you can do with Photoshop. But it is a lot more advanced, I believe. It might not be. Which brings me actually to Photoshop. Is Photoshop here? Photoshop has a lot of tools as well. I'm going to maybe, let me see. It's difficult to know which images you want to apply any sort of AI tools on. It takes some tinkering and learning, and which is also why, again, the artistic background is very beneficial, because I know how to put lines somewhere, and how to make images in the right angles, where I know kind of, because of I've seen a lot of these GANs being used, I kind of know how they are going to project onto it and layer on top of each other, and so I know how to guide it towards a certain point. It's not on point yet. I've been not been doing this for incredibly long. I've been researching this a lot and trying a bunch of stuff out. I'm going to open the screen here of Photoshop, Adobe Media Encoder, no, Photoshop, Playback PT, false, how is it called? There is no real engine as art breeder. PT Quora Seagate Star. It doesn't seem to be, for some reason. Now, as you know, in Photoshop, the tools. There's plugins, a filter, the neural filters, which is under filters in Photoshop. I'm going to try again if I can find it. Why? Yes. As you can see here, I'm going to make it I can't use it properly if it's big. You can see here, which was here, filter, under filter, neural filters. It doesn't show up on my screen, but it's supposed to be here. You can see the filter, then it gives a drop down menu, and then it ends up this one here. There's like super zoom, JPEG artifacts, fill with color, and again, I am not in English. Why am I not in English? But you can imagine these are a bunch of tools. It can, and some of these are, style is the same as the one that you see here. Oh, again, you can see, because I am not, that you see here, these styles that you can apply. But again, this looks cheesy if you don't know what you're doing. If you just apply this to something, it looks like a filter that you've put on it, and it is just a filter that you've put on it. Like any other person that always does that. You can do that with Instagram or whatever. That doesn't really lend itself to any sort of creative achievement. Usually what you'd like to do is actually be an artist, and then you can like start puzzling with that, because it's just a thing that you use to make certain aspects of your workflow easier. And then of course I could go into Premiere Pro, but I'm not going to do that now. With Premiere Pro, if you're going then to animation, because static is just static, definitely I think these days video is where you need to be, because static images are just, again, static images. It doesn't tell much, and viewership, people keep watching more when you're doing more things that are related to video, because then you can do sound, and it's even sound, there's AI in sound, which brings us to where we are now. This is going to keep evolving, the context awareness. That's what I'm going to be saying about it now, but it should be, I think this should be enough for now.